Welcome back, traders. This is my market outlook on index futures for the week of April 6th. So NFP week is behind us. You can see that the market had a huge drop last week. I was calling for prices to go lower below these lows. This is the micro contract, and as you can see, we don't really have past data. And even if I go into the minis contract, the data back here is pretty spotty. So in order for us to build our higher time frame analysis, our higher time frame bias, I'm going to go ahead and use a continuous contract ES1 exclamation and NQ1 exclamation. And I'm actually going to start on the monthly chart. So here's ES on the monthly chart, and you can see that we have displacement to the downside. So we have officially entered into a bear market. Now this fair value gap, this SIBI, is the first monthly SIBI that we've seen. Well, the last time we saw it was all the way back here in February 2020. So over 5 years before we had the last SIBI. So this is definitely a big sign that we're going to head for lower prices. And if we just go ahead and drag a gradient over the most recent swing high, and I'm going to go down here, this is a significant swing low. So this is the monthly dealing range. And if we are in a bear market, we're wanting to go for discount. So we haven't reached discount just yet. We just took out this low. This low is next on the chopping block, but you can see it's still at a premium. The equilibrium is here, and we do have a small volume imbalance, but the PD array that I am looking for is going to be this fair value gap. It also lines up with this order block, this previous high. So a lot of confluences here. I think if we're going to reach down on the higher time frame, we're going to be reaching for this fair value gap. Here on the weekly chart, we have the monthly BISI. This is going to be my target. We do have sell side below the swing low, so this is definitely going to be a good partial to take. So we've already taken out this sell side below this low. We could just keep dropping from here, or we could have a little bit of retracement. I'm going to have to go down into the daily chart to get a little bit more detail. Now zooming in on the daily, the last place we had a SIBI was back over here. If we do have retracement, we could be coming back into this daily fair value gap. I'm including the volume balance as well. However, you can see we had a huge down candle here. For S&P, this was 300 points or so. So I really doubt that we're going to retrace all of this down movement here. We could, potentially we could, and we could come back into this SIBI. But I'm going to actually go down into the 4-hour. So here on the 4-hour, I think this SIBI here is more reasonable for price to come back into if we do see some retracement. We do have to get through this balanced price range here, but I think it's more likely that we can go into this 4-hour fair value gap and then start dropping lower. I mean, this right here, we could, like I said, we could come back up here. I just think that's a lot of distance. I don't really want to expect price to go all the way up there. And of course, you can drop down into the 1-hour to see if there's any fair value gaps you want to see retraced to. This right here, we don't have a fair value gap on the 4-hour, but we could have something in here on the 1-hour. I'm not going to go into the 1-hour. I'll leave that for your own research. Moving on to the Nasdaq continuous contract. This is the monthly chart, and just like S&P, we have a SIBI here. The last time we saw a SIBI was actually back here in January of 2022. So not quite 5 years, but 3 years ago. Now, I think we're going to be entering into a bear market as well, of course, and looking at the dealing range from this high back down to this low, we're looking for discount, and the first fair value gap I see in discount is this right here. So definitely mark this out, but there's also another one below it. So I'm going to mark this one out as well. I think either of these two could be the target that we are going to be reaching for. And of course, we have these relative lows down here. We haven't gone through them just yet. So I think going into the next week, I expect price to come down below these relative equal lows. Here on the weekly chart, you can see that we took out this sell side, but we didn't quite take out this one just yet. It's very close on the continuous contract, but not there yet. And we also have this low. So I wouldn't really care too much about this one, because if we go down below here, I think we can punch through this as well. And of course, we're looking for price to go into a discount. Below this low, there is that monthly fair value gap. if we could go through it and go into the second monthly fair value gap. But I think either of these definitely, this is the first one, so keep an eye out for that. Just like ES on the daily chart, we could have some retracement before we go lower, although it looks really strong. We don't really necessarily have to retrace much. This is the first fair value gap on the daily chart, but as you can see, we may not retrace all the way back up here. This is like over what? This is 1,300 points or so. So I don't really feel like price needs to come back and retrace that much. Let's go into the 4-hour. Maybe going back into this. I mean, this does line up with that old low, the old sell side that we took. So this is more reasonable. But again, go down into the 1 hour and see if there's any inefficiencies on the lower time frame. I don't really expect price to come back up a lot. So any lower time frame setup, I think you can take and aim for the sell side below those relative lows. So that's pretty much it this time, guys. What can I say? We're in a bear market. I'm looking for shorts. I'm looking for downward movement. Now we could retrace back up some, but the more favorable trade is going to be on the downside, at least until we take out the sell side below those relative equal lows. Make sure you check the continuous contract because the data on the minis and the micros are kind of spotty. So anyways, until I see you guys next time, safe trading.